Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Truth, God, and Justice Chick podcast. This is your host, Saskia Chick, and I welcome you guys back on here for some more of this controversial stuff. This, ugly truth type of stuff that so many people and companies and organizations, you name it, tries to suppress at all costs. But here we do uncover and bring the corruptions and crimes and ugly truth, controversies to light. And so today is no different. Today we're discussing, in this brand new episode, we are discussing the crimes against humanity, all medical related. So some of the medical industrial complex / just simply medical corruptions, or like I said in the beginning, crimes against humanity. So where shall we start, right? This is another beast of a topic, and one that's a little bit intimidating. And as always, I give you guys my point of view, my opinion, my 2 cents. So don't, fact check me. Don't, you can give me, of course, your opinion, your criticism, whatever. But, I'm not claiming to be up to date on everything. I am no expert. I'm no doctor. I'm just giving you it the way I see it. And I think a lot of other people too. Some who might just be, I don't know if you can say, a little bit too afraid, or just are not as outspoken on any platforms. But I know there are a lot of victims. There have been a lot of victims of the so-called, I don't want to say it because I don't want to get, kicked off this platform, but, the jabbed victims, really, or the people who just couldn't take the heat or the pressure of things and gave in, and now they're living with permanent disabilities, or even worse, have succumbed to their vaccine injuries, and just general, people who have to deal with now the consequences of the corrupt medical system. So I don't know why, just the first thing that I heard, just the most recent, that's what I want to say, the most recent thing that just blew my mind, or promotion, advertisement, endorsement, whatever it is. I don't know. I haven't looked into it too much, but I've heard now multiple times about this football star Travis Kelce, his endorsement for Pfizer, which, wow. I mean, I don't know him personally. I don't know him even that much as an, public athlete, but obviously just mainly heard of him through the Super Bowl and all. But the last Super Bowl, yeah, his endorsement for the Pfizer shot. Another one bites the dust. It's amazing, really. Yeah, what to say about that, right? That's just, it's sad. And in this day and age, where so many or I don't want to say victims, so many, vaccine injured people have come forward, and so many athletes dropped like a fly, and to endorse anything like that, I mean, I have a hard time believing that he had to do it because he needed the money. Like, obviously it's money related, most likely, and not so much for the benefits of this so-called not so helpful vaccine. I mean, he does make quite a bit of money as it is as an athlete or as a football player. So I don't, you just wonder, like I always like overthink these types of things where I'm like, okay, if he was if he was just short on cash, or what is the reason? He already makes probably millions, so what's the need for doing such a thing? Obviously, money is the root of all evil in all aspects of life, really, right? The politics, the I guess support of such medical corruptions, really. I mean, it's all just, the medical system is so far, so down, so far gone. That's what I'm trying to say. So far gone, so mistrusted. No one, I don't think, there are not many people, maybe the ones who are so-called, we call them sheeps, maybe they are still having full 100% trust in the medical system, but I don't even know. I have, as a side note, or as a little information, I am unjabbed, 100%, never used to test. And yes, this episode is also a bit about the COVID times, because it's kind of goes hand in hand with the general medical disaster, really, medical system disaster. So, and of course goes hand in hand. It is probably the front page nowadays for the term crimes against humanity, and everything that comes with it, comes from and with the so-called vaccines, that we all have at least one person in our lives who has been affected by this poison, really. Or not just this one. Really, if we go back, decades, ever since, the childhood immunizations came out or were invented, or have been pushed, really, right? Because most of us, I would say, have been sheep in that sense. We all have probably gotten the childhood vaccines, most of us. I know there are some single families who have not been getting any of those, who are the true lions, I guess, if we consider us either a sheep or a lion. They have been the OGs of what has only been revealed in the recent years due to the COVID times, really. And it's sad, I am ashamed and embarrassed to admit that it took this pandemic of times to finally wake up to the corruptions of the medical system. I know a lot of you guys have probably been awake even before then. I am ashamed to admit that it took me this long. Not that I trusted the medical system 100% before the pandemic, but of course you thought differently. And I don't know why it took such a time as that to finally be awake to the obvious, the blatant corruption in all ways when it comes to money, how to make money off patients, or just simply pushing, a poisonous shot, or the childhood immunizations that probably most of us have been giving or letting our children get, which is just, I completely stopped, at least now, or in the recent couple of years, I stopped all, so-called immunizations, because it's nothing more than a cocktail of poisons, metals, mercury. Obviously, we've known about that, but aborted fetal cells. I mean, so much, no child, no individual, no human being needs any of this stuff that we are told, oh, herd immunity, and we need this crap to, not get mumps or chicken pox or whatever. No one mentions the natural immunity, not once, because guess why? We all know why, because there's no money to be made, right? If we're all living naturally, consume foods without GMOs, or, it might be more costly a little bit to live whole, with whole foods and feed ourselves and our families whole foods, and just living off the grid in a way, or not off grid, but necessarily, but still living, in a natural way without, injecting anything foreign in our bodies, and consuming food that have no GMOs or, things of that sort. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. They're trying to, or they're not trying, they're trying to kill us, which has been more blatantly out there in the open from this pandemic, because of this pandemic, but also just years and decades before that with the regular vaccines. And I always have to go back to that, because that's probably, I would say, the so-called immunization schedule and vaccine, slash vaccines and all this COVID crap shots, and is nothing more than a moneymaker, of course, because if you really talk honest, if you do honest talk with your doctors, they almost, I believe, in my opinion, I don't want to say something that's not absolutely correct, but I have heard of people, of pediatricians especially, who have to endorse or push them because otherwise they don't get paid as much, I think, or not on a personal level, but I think the office, or they don't get paid per patient from the insurance companies, I believe, or whatever it may be. They don't get paid as much, of course, if a patient refuses any kind of vaccine. So there's definitely, I think most of us know that already, right? This is no news, but it's still worthy of mentioning it again and again and again and again, because it's just so corrupt. And vaccines is one thing, then of course it's the whole treatment options and all the medications that are being pushed down our throats. And it's just been, it's no surprise. It's no news that the medical system, I don't want to say every single doctor, of course not, is trying out, is not doing their job by, the oath that they took, or, that they're trying to do only good. I know there are a lot of good doctors, but a lot of places, a lot of physicians are also doing what they are told, pushing what they are told. And so what's the solution to all this corruption? I guess trying to live as healthy as you can, so you don't need their help, their so-called help or expertise, or that's probably your best bet, is to live as healthy as you can, which of course also, it's just a vicious cycle. It's really, because when you think about it, like, you try to live very healthy, like, for example, consume GMO-free food, or, live, of course, occasional junk is okay, I guess. But if you live, for the most part, if you consume whole foods and you try to, get enough sleep and this and that, exercise, and do your best part. Of course, it is more expensive in a way, unless you get, sleep doesn't cost much, but like if you try to just your diet, if you trying to improve your diet to strictly whole foods, or you try to get this mineral and buy this Celtic salt, this, all that stuff, of course, is expensive too over time. But so is a lot of your medication that you could probably, when it comes to blood pressure, I know there are other ways of fixing it, or cholesterol medication, that you might, your copay might be through the roof, and things like that could be replaced. It's all a vicious cycle. It's obviously, I could be talking about this topic for hours on end, but it all boils down to money, right? It's no news.